The Gaspee Affair was an event in history that was the first attack on British from colonists due to increasing British oppression. This event is often overlooked due to the Boston Tea Party being such a big event and it happening within the same time frame. The Gaspee Affair of 1772 was an event where a group of men boarded and destroyed the HMS Gaspee just off the coast of Rhode Island. This event only increased tensions between the British and the colonists, as it was one of the first violent attacks against British officials from the colonists. This event preceded the Revolutionary War and other major events leading up to it, such as the Boston Tea Party. Before I can explain what happened, you need to understand what the British did. During the colonial days, Rhode Island was known for their exportation of rum made from molasses. Almost all of the molasses was imported from places other than Britain, as it was much cheaper to get. However, the British did not like losing out on molasses sales. Because of this, they put it in the Sugar Act. Colonists in Rhode Island especially. Their molasses importation allowed them to make rum which they exported, it being the main economic source in Rhode Island. This caused the colonists to begin smuggling molasses into Rhode Island from foreign countries. The British almost turned a blind eye to this at first, not truly having ships patrol and enforce the act. It carried on this way until the end of the 7 Years' War. The British national debt had doubled after the war, and they needed to collect taxes to recuperate the costs. After the war, the British brought 6 small sloops and deployed them around the coast to enforce custom laws and mandatory inspections, hoping that they would collect more taxes. Molasses or rum. Ships would be taken from American traders and often kept by the British and turned into more ships to patrol and enforce customs laws. As time went on, these ships became more and more aggressive and unfair. The Rhode Islanders got so fed up with this, they attacked 2 other British ships prior to the Gaspee Affair, the HMS St. John in 1764 and the HMS Liberty in 1768. Yet, these 2 attacks were very minor and left none dead and no ships sunk. However, that changed in 1772. In early 1772, the HMS Gaspee sailed into the Rhode Island Narragansett Bay for its routine inspection duties on February 17th and seized 12 barrels of undeclared rum that was being smuggled in to avoid tax. The British then sent the ship and rum that they seized to Boston, believing that any seized items left in a Rhode Island port would be reclaimed by the colonists. However, the colonists did not like this move of sending American cargo away to a separate. On June 9th, the HMS Gaspee gave chase to the packet ship Hannah, but the Gaspee ran aground in shallow water in the bay. Her crew were unable to free her, and the captain decided to wait for high tide to get freed from the ground. Before that could happen, however, a band of men from Rhode Island, led by John Brown, decided to act on this opportunity. They rowed out a small ship and boarded the HMS Gaspee at the break of dawn on June 10th. The crew of the HMS Gaspee put up little resistance, and they were attacked by the colonists. The captain of the HMS Gaspee, Lieutenant Dudsington, was shot and wounded in the groin. The group of colonists that boarded the Gaspee read through all the ship's papers before forcing off the crew and lighting the ship on fire. Previous attacks by colonists on British naval vessels had gone unpunished, but in 1772 the British would not ignore this destruction of one of its military vessels on station, the HMS Gaspee. The British then began an investigation to find the perpetrators of the affair. However, the Dockyard Act had passed in April that demanded that anyone suspected of burning British ships should be extradited and tried in England. However, the Gaspee raiders were charged with treason. The task of the commission was to determine which colonists had evidence against them to warrant shipping them to England for trial. However, this commission was unable to obtain evidence and declared their inability to deal with the case. The Gaspee Affair proved to be the event that really got the ball rolling leading into the American Revolutionary War. It was the first blood that was shed prior to the war against a British official. It proved that the colonists were getting more and more upset with the British and weren't scared to act on it, and the British were getting more and more power and money hungry as they had tried anything to collect their taxes and thought that they were higher than the colonists. The Gaspee Affair, in my opinion, the most important event leading up to the American Revolutionary War. Thank you.